What do you do when everything you've worked for is taken away from you? For Georgia Hunter-Bell, a devastating career-ending injury could have meant the end of her story. Instead, it became the beginning of her second act. This is Untapped with me, Spencer Matthews, where we learn and get inspired to untap our potential from the best athletes in the world. In this episode, we dive into Georgia's remarkable journey from Olympic dreams to a new purpose, the power of mindset, and what it really takes to come back when all you've been told is that it's all over. If you haven't already, subscribe or follow Untapped wherever you're listening. Your support really helps us grow. You'll also be the first to know when new episodes are dropping, and we have some pretty amazing people coming on, so you definitely don't want to be missing out. Right, let's get Untapped with Georgia Hunter-Bell. I'd like to talk in a bit more detail about your career and how you came to taste kind of epic victory and win, medals on the largest stages in the world, because it wasn't a straightforward path for you, was it? You were a very talented teenager.
Yeah, I was a very good junior. So I kind of knew early that I was decent at running. You get an insight just from things like sports day. Like when you're really young, 10, 11, 12 years old, you're not really training, but some kids are just faster than others. And I fell into that category. And then as a teenager, continued that, became like the top ranked junior over the 800 meters for multiple years in the UK. And it was kind of like, oh, this is a really promising young British athlete. Hopefully they're going to go on and do something really exciting. And that just kind of didn't work out for me. Like I went over to the US on a full track scholarship with lots of high hopes of one day making the Olympics and being a professional athlete, and basically just never ran better than I did in the UK. And so quit running for what I thought was forever and went into the working world at 23.
Because of injury or because you genuinely felt you weren't good enough?
Because of injury, and I did completely give up on the dream. Like I just thought, if it hasn't happened yet, I haven't run a personal best for years. Like I'm 23 years old now. I've done an undergrad and a master's to try and continue this running dream, and I kind of need to make a decision about what I'm going to do with my life. And I had gone from absolutely loving running, loving racing, being so confident, that's when I was at my happiest, to going to a really dark place with it, dreading racing, dreading training, all through just having stress fractures, having injuries, and just feeling so far away from being my best, being the best, that I was just like, I need to just step away from this and just accept that I've kind of failed here.
I heard that you were reinvigorated when things started going wrong by a park run. Is that the case?
Well, if you read some of the papers in the run-up to Paris, it really made it sound like I was couched to 5K to Olympic medal, like with parkrun. That was really like a story that was pushed, which would be a great story.
Our team here were like, that's what it sounded like to me. And I was just like,
how?
I'm pretty sure that her career didn't bounce back from the parkrun, by the way. It's like, my PR loves the parkrun. It's not, but was there a time when you ran a parkrun? And I think you did it in 16...
Yeah, it was just over
or something.
Yeah, it was just over 16 minutes. And yeah, it was a time where I had fully stopped running, never thought I would run back on a track, went into the working world, and then gradually found my way back into running, got into cycling, which I was finding fitness from just as something new. And parkrun is obviously just a good way to just challenge yourself. And I thought, let's just see what I can do in a parkrun, and ended up running that pretty decent time for just being on my own. And then that led me to reach out to my old coach, who is my coach now, who's the coach of Keely and everyone on the team. And I just said, would you coach me again? Like, I know I, walked away and thought that I was never going to make it. And he said to me that he nearly didn't take my call. He was just like, oh, I can't bother to deal with Georgia.
It's like a Disney film.
It's like an old, that's an old thing. Surely that ship's sailed. And he was like, well, yeah, let's just go for it and see. And luckily he did. But yeah, parkrun was a way it was kind of gave me a bit of hope in a time where I felt very hopeless, I'd say.
It's kind of cool that someone like you can get that feeling from a parkrun.
Totally.
When you've been on Olympic podiums.
Yeah.
It's kind of,
yeah.
Like I would take that away as a really awesome message to kind of listeners to go and do a park run.
That meant so much to me, running 16 odd minutes for a 5K. And everyone's different. Like I have other people who are absolutely buzzing, in my life when they might run 30 minutes for a park run. But it's all about how it makes you feel and you seeing those improvements. You gain that self-respect, self-worth. It makes you more motivated when you can see that progress. And then you just stack years and years of that. The goals change. And yeah, so you might get an Olympic medal at the end of it.
Can we dig into that a little bit more, or the mental side of it?
Mm-hmm.
So I can completely relate to plateauing or feeling like you've had, your best race might be behind you. It can be quite a brutal thing.
Yeah.
Because, you sometimes pull a rabbit out of a hat for no apparent reason, and you don't know where that came from, and you're not sure how to replicate it.
Yeah.
So in your case, when you're absolutely smashing it and you're being told that, there's a chance you're going to end up at the Olympics and you are, one of the hottest prospects in the UK, how do you handle the plateau?
Yeah.
Or even the regression, maybe?
Yeah, it was really hard. Like they were just really hard years because I had grown up just running was something that just came so easy to me. I just felt so good all the time. And then suddenly other people are catching up. Something that felt really easy last year is feeling a lot harder. And so it was really difficult. And also at that time, I'm going through my teenage years, like your body's changing, you're going through all your hormones and everything. So it was just really mentally tough to try and keep going and stay positive. But I had good performances throughout those years that gave me inklings of hope. And then I would think, no, I've still got it. That talent hasn't gone away. I just need to nurture it in the right way. And I do think that's a huge important thing.
What are the key things that you did to try to achieve that?
Well, I think that now I can look back and see that just because you're a talented kid doesn't mean that you're going to make it. I think there are so many things that you need to make it to the very top where you're winning Olympic medals. You need to have a great team around you, like coaches that know what they're doing. You need to be very resilient. Like you need to be able to learn things from the losses and be able to come back. You need the work ethic. Obviously, you've got to do the hard work. And you need that mental strength too, which can take years to develop and definitely did with me, to actually stand on the start line and believe that you are capable of winning a medal, or winning or whatever it might be, which is a very daunting and scary thing. And it's often quite a delusional thing, like on paper, how are you going to do this? But you really need to get to that point of belief. And only when all those things come together, as well as the recovery, nutrition, everything like that, those are the people that are able to do it.
The self-belief, the people who believe in themselves, does that ever shift during the race?
I think at the professional level, at the top level, if you don't think you're going to win a race, you absolutely won't. Like there's too many people who are too good, who want it so badly that even if you are slightly mentally off your game, someone's going to come through. And
so sorry to interrupt you. So when you're lining up for the 1500 meters, say, you think, does every single person lining up believe they're going to win?
No, I don't think that they do. And that's why the people that truly believe that they are, do. Because I think when you get to this top level, everyone is so talented. Everyone has put in hours of work. They've done all the physical things. But some people will stand there and have doubts. They'll say, I don't know if I can do this. I haven't had a good few races, whatever it might be. And other people will stand there telling themselves, I can do this. I'm ready for the moment. And for me last year, because I was such an underdog, and this kind of whole story of coming back and being in that shape in an Olympic year was so unlikely that I kind of had no doubts the whole year of racing. And that was almost my superpower against people who were putting a lot of pressure on themselves, who had a lot of outside pressure on them. And it's something that's not tangible, but those people are definitely the most dangerous to race.
It's such a funny balance though, isn't it, as well? Because it's almost beneficial sometimes to be the underdog, because there is less pressure riding on you when people aren't expecting you to win. Mm-hmm. Heavy is the head that wears the crown and such, that if you're expected to win, and you have to have the wins to believe the confidence in yourself, right? Like if you're the kind of person that believes you're always going to win, and you don't repeatedly, then obviously that confidence gets crushed.
Totally.
And you start to realize that you're delusions as such are fake. They're wrong.
I know. And that's, I think, for professional athletes, that's such a big deal because I've had races. So this year is a very different year for me. People expect a lot. I'm no longer the underdog, right? So I'm adjusting to that mentally. And this year it is harder for me than last year for getting on the start line, and I'm thinking differently. And I think that I've had experiences this year where I went in as the favourite and failed. So I had European indoors. I was the dead hot favourite. Everyone was just like, this is just a procession. Like, she's just going to go and win. And I completely messed up the race and missed and came fourth. So didn't even get a medal. And that was very hard after that to get myself back to a place of saying, no, you can do this. Like, because as you say, once you have evidence that you can't, that allows that doubt to kind of grow inside you.
You must have stood next to people who were where you wanted to be mentally, like who knew that they were just going to hammer the race and who knew that they, luck was on their side. And I don't know. And it must be hard to go into a race knowing that.
Yeah, definitely. And I think, as you say, once you've had the experience and you have the doubts, you have to really work yourself up to believe in yourself. I mean, I think that's the key thing. It's like, if you've done all the work, then you have earned the right to stand on the start line and believe you can do it. And so I guess with you going into these marathons, you did a bit of training before to make sure that you actually can do it on the day.
Chris Taylor, he was my running coach, and he was my logistical head in the desert. We came to the conclusion, obviously, that good preparation is like the antithesis of Jeopardy, and what we're aiming for is a Jeopardy-free trip. We're aiming to be able to complete the task that we've set ourselves and do it well and come back strong. Was the idea. We're not looking to struggle our way through it, to potentially fail. All of those things are realities, but could be realities. But he said to me on day one, he was like, if we control the controllables, if you put in the time, if you stick to this training regime, if you listen to me and you do the distances that I'm telling you to do at the pace that I'm telling you to do them at, then you will be ready for this event.
Totally. And I feel like you can do stuff to make sure you're ready and do everything right. And then in my event, it's also about knowing your competition really well.
Yeah.
So with the 1500 and the 800, it is as much of a mental and intelligent race as it is a physical. It's very tactical. And so you need to know what your competitors' strengths are. Like, are they likely to go out at a really hot pace early doors? Can they do a really big kick so you don't want to see them on your ass, like when you're a few meters from the finish line? And I'll go into every race knowing who's in the race, what their season's best is, so what kind of shape they're in, what they've done in the past. And you're kind of preparing yourself for all outcomes. And I noticed the races that I haven't gone into that with that preparation, not only do I feel less ready on the start line, but my performance is always worse because there's something surprising. Someone comes through and did something that I didn't even know who that was. And actually, if I'd taken the time to look it up, I would have seen that they just did a crazy race a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
So me losing that race, BBC Sport, was like shock. We're all in shock. And my family, my father-in-law, friends had all flown out to watch this race that was a complete banker. And I just felt so, guilty and sad afterwards. But then that feeling really stuck with me afterwards in training. Like, I thought about it on every rep when I was in pain. Like, I thought about it when I was going to bed. It really did consume me for like weeks afterwards. And then a few weeks later, I was able to get a bronze medal at the World Championships because I was just so determined to right in that wrong. And so I sometimes think that, you need stuff like that to be able to show that resilience. And then now I can look back and say, well, that was a pretty bad day, but look at how you were able to come back. And that can make you believe in yourself.
I am a massive fan of Whoop, and the all-new Whoop experience is here, and it's absolutely better than ever. If you're new to Whoop, it's the only wearable that turns your health and fitness data into personalized guidance to help you perform at your best. The updated hardware is now smaller, lasts 14 plus days on a single charge, and includes powerful new features like health span tracking, heart screener, and improved sleep performance insights. It doesn't just give you numbers, it helps you understand how your body is doing, how you're recovering, and what changes you can make to improve. Whether you're just getting started or deep into your health journey, Whoop is the tool to help you untap your potential. Click the link below for your first month free. I think bouncing back is one of the best feelings, that you can have. If you could bottle that and drink it whenever you want, that would be great.
Yeah, everyone loves a comeback.
Everyone loves a comeback, and it's just I think life is a series of comebacks, really, isn't it? If you're a driven, competitive person, you're going to lose. You'll always find someone. Broadly speaking, I mean, we've had some people in here who are literally the best in the world at things, and throughout the course of their life, they have always come up against somebody better at some points. And it's an incredible way of looking at things, I think, to take loss as a positive almost. Like, obviously it's painful at the time, and it
you need that grit. Like, I do think the losses build the resilience, like, which makes you have grit, and only people that have grit are able to do the tough things, which most people would be like, I'm just not even touching this.
I think when you lose as well, if you then dwell in that and you shy away from competition because you don't want to feel that again, that is the difference between someone who will go on to potentially achieve their full potential or to get those race results that they're looking for, because it's a really valuable lesson to, I'm a father now, I've got 3 kids. It's that would be the most important thing almost at their age, to teach them that failing, losing, it is just, firstly, it's a part of life. But of course, it's also fuel to get back in there and beat them next time.
I think that's why sports is so good for kids. And that's definitely something that, I mean, hopefully your kids will be able to experience if they do any kind of sport. It's just such an easy way to teach it to them without, always letting them win games, always letting them be, the person that comes out on top. Like, they need to learn.
I always make sure I beat them when we race.
Good. Good. Don't let them win.
No, I think we kind of share it a bit, but it is important.
It is important because they need to know what that's like. Because otherwise, they'll grow up and then they won't know what it's like to lose or not get what they want.
Speaking of running, is 6 years old, not to make this all about my kids again, but is 6 years old kind of too young to notice like a running talent? He loves running, my son, and he does athletics at the same track as you, and he is good. Yeah, like he wins all of his races.
Amazing.
And I'm not just saying that, like, my daughter doesn't and he does. Like he's got an amazing stride, and like he loves running. He loses every so often if he's paying too much attention to who's watching. So like he does like spin round and check who's seeing him win before he wins. But like that's a bit of me, I think.
Yeah.
But he's but he is like, he's fast.
Yeah.
I ran a 5K with him the other day. He's 6.
Wow.
And like I think it's quite like, at what stage would you start to kind of like harness that? Or would you, like, I don't want to be that weird, like, parent that kind of pushes sport on their very young children either, like, unnecessarily. But I do think he's like a good runner.
Yeah. I think get him into a running club, definitely.
At his age?
Well, maybe when he gets a bit older. Like, there's obviously the kids parkrun. So I think that's a really good step for someone who's a kid who's good at running. I think it's only 2K instead of 5.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of like the appropriate section for them to be in at this point, because it's such a fine balance. Like, they have all this potential, but you don't want them to burn out by the time they're 12 because hate it. Exactly. And like, I'm a story of someone who did too much, got injured and dropped out totally. I managed to find a way back, but I just think, how many other potential Olympians would we have in the UK if people don't drop out of sport altogether? But there are so many reasons why they might, and doing too much too young is definitely a risk.
It was shin splints that took you out mostly, was it?
I had, various shin splints that then turned into stress fractures. So that's literally where your bones start to fracture and break. And that goes into a whole procedure of healing, which is like no running. So you're coming back from like such a terrible starting point. It's a awful feeling of when you get out of the crutches or the boot that you're in and you're like, oh my gosh, I have to start and build my way back up. And it's just a really bad cycle. Like, a few months goes well, then you get a stress fracture. So you start it all over again. And now I'm actually in a really good spot with fitness because I've just had year on year on year of building this base without having to take big blocks out. Touch wood, from no injuries.
How important is building that base fitness layer through zone 1, zone 2, longer stuff, just like getting your really low intensity cardio up, is that for your distance? I obviously don't know, but for longer distance stuff, running for hours incredibly slowly, like almost so slowly that you feel like you're not working out, is so important. And it's one of those weird sessions because then like you kind of don't really feel like you're in a session, which can be nice. Obviously, if you've got like really heavy legs or you're tired or you've undergone some stress that week or whatever, then it can be quite a nice way to just like have a chat with your mate or make some phone calls or whatever when you're training in inverted commas. But like you do feel that translates to speed then, like when you then go to the track on fresh legs. You're like maintaining that 3 minute per kilometer pace is easier because of the distance that you've put through your legs. Is that something that you focus on as well?
Yeah, so we'll have easy days and then we'll have hard days, and our group really swears by that. Like Keely Hodgkinson, Olympic champion, she's my teammate, and we've got Sarah Healy, a European champion teammate. Like the formula works. The easy days are very easy. Like sometimes my husband will be like, I actually cannot run with you because you're going so slow today and I want to go a bit faster. So for me, that's like getting my heart rate at almost like 140, like not very high at all. It's complete recovery. So the next day I can smash it at the track, like go into lactic hell. Like I'm going as fast as I can. And
do you like all that?
I love those sessions. Yeah. They're painful. They're hard, but it is really that thing of pushing your limits to see how far you can go. And I think exposing yourself to that kind of intensity in training means that we're prepared for the big races when they go like that. Like it's not a shock to us. We practice for it.
I love that as well, by the way. Like the kind of faster, heavier stuff where you genuinely feel like you're in hell during it. It's nice because you're paying something. Like you're giving something. So like you'll be rewarded, It's kind of like I do think it's a give and take, sports like jiu-jitsu. It's very similar. Like the more you give to the track, the more you pay in sweat and tears and blood and whatever else you want to say.
Sometimes vomit.
Yeah, exactly. The better you will become. It's one of these things as well. And I'd love to get your opinion on how to encourage people that currently don't love running to start running or to develop some habits that might help them become runners, because it is a life-changing sport. When you embrace it and when you get good at it, there's very few better feelings than running around a park like a good pace and your breathing's all fine and you're thinking clearly and you're outdoors and the sun's out. It's like it's an awesome sport. And
it's so natural. I feel like most people hopefully will be able to do it. Obviously, if you have kind of physical condition, then maybe not. But in terms of sports that you can access, like you don't need a bike, you don't need a tennis membership and a court, you don't need a pool. Like you just need a pair of trainers. And from that sense, it's lots of people can get into it. And you see the kind of communities that come out to parkrun, parents pushing in buggies, grandparents, like pregnant people, like it's just able to reach so many people. And I think that's what I would just say about people looking to get into running. It's like the barrier to entry is very low and you will just enjoy it so much once you get into it, once you just push past that. I mean, it's always hard as you make it. Like a 5K flat out for me now is still as hard as a 5K flat out for me was when I first started. It's all about the effort that you put in.
It's relative, isn't it? Though?
Exactly.
And it's kind of, I feel that almost everyone that starts running is going to hate running, right? Like at the very beginning. I'm not sure that anyone, so if you're new to running and you go running and you do a lap of your local park, you will get home and you probably won't love the way you feel the first time you go out. So just coming from an Olympic athlete, an Olympic runner, why stick through the pain and why do it in the first place? Like what has running given you?
It's just the highlight of my day. Even when the sessions are hard, the way how it makes me feel afterwards, the kind of mental release as well as the physical, it's just such a thing that I love to do. It's allowed me to see the world, obviously travel. It's allowed me to have many amazing experiences that are just not normal. But I think just for the average person, they will hopefully feel better once they get into it for a bit. And someone once said something to me that's really stuck with me. And it's like the time you least feel like going for a run is probably when you need it the most. And that is true. Like perhaps you're really tired, you've had a long day, you just want to lie on the sofa and eat junk food. You might feel better for a second, but afterwards you'll just feel terrible. And running's the opposite of that. You kind of might feel worse when you're doing it, but then at the end you feel refreshed and better. And I love to see friends, family, people that are getting into running later in life, and then they'll message me and say, I'm really loving it at the moment. Like, I don't know how this has happened, but I'm just finding myself wanting to go for runs, wanting to do that. And yeah, I just think it's something that hopefully is accessible for a lot of people.
Wonderful feelings of pride as well when you start to find difficult things easy.
Absolutely.
Like when I think the reason lots of people don't like running is because it is quite hard. Like it's it's not the easiest sport if you are, your cardiovascular rate will go, your heart rate will skyrocket, you will begin to sweat if you're not used to it, and your body isn't conditioned, you will feel pain, aches, so it's not the easiest thing to do, but when your body begins to adapt to it, it's a very beautiful thing. And you do have to get over that wall, just to get into it. But I think that goes for
every good thing in life.
Yeah, exactly.
Nothing good is going to come easy. Like, you have to, and then it's also doing the work for it is when it feels so special. Like, there's a reason that winning Olympic medals is so special. It's because it only comes around every 4 years. You might have visualized that moment for 4, 5, 6 years, however long it might be. So then when you get it, it is the most satisfying feeling, more so than if you just started running the week before.
What is the greatest feeling you've ever had in your career?
I think it does have to be the Paris Olympic final. So just kind of walking out into the stadium, it is so loud. Like, you just hear the rumble before you get out. And
like a Roman gladiator.
Honestly, you do feel it's a very gladiatorial experience. You're standing next to these people who you know well, but they're the competitors, and you're going out and history's about to be made and no one knows what's going to happen. Like, it's exciting. And so I think in the race, I was 4th coming into the home straight, and obviously only 3 people get medals. And I just was like, I need to give it absolutely everything in my being. And before the race, I just said, I want to make sure that I finish the line, and completely collapsed. Like, no, I couldn't have done a single thing more. And so I think just crossing the line, which I got in the final step, by the skin of my teeth, I got a medal. And realizing how fast we had gone, like, it was an Olympic record. I ran a British record 4 seconds faster than my previous personal best. So, like,
what?
Blew off a massive chunk there and then.
4 seconds?
Which in a 1500 is a lot.
Jesus.
Yeah. So it was just like that feeling of knowing that you've done it, and then just lying on the track and hearing everything erupt around you. And that, I think, is just the best feeling ever. I hope it stays with me forever. Yeah.
I kind of I feel like I felt it.
Yeah.
That's so cool. It's honestly, that is the stuff of dreams,
Yeah, it is.
Like, I just think that's so awesome.
And it's just the racing side is really fun. Like, you're really pushing yourself to your absolute red. But also you're engaging your mental kind of fight or flight the whole time in the race. So, like, moves are being made and you have to engage and make sure that you don't get dropped. And if there's a gap, are you going to be able to get there in time? And all these split-second decisions which make up what the end result will be. It's actually just very interesting, psychologically, to see how it all pans out and who's going to finish on top, and then it's just over.
I can't imagine what it would be like to race 1500 meters in front of a full crowd. It's like
there's 80,000 people in Paris.
The intensity would be insane, and you would find extra seconds actually. Obviously,
if I went down to Battersea Track and tried to run 3:52, not happening.
No,
but being in those environments, it does those big pressure moments pull out these amazing performances.
This is an advertisement from BetterHelp. We all know that it's important to focus on taking care of our bodies. We try to eat well, we stay active, but what about our minds? Stress is everywhere, and just like skipping the cool down after a run, ignoring it catches up with you. Think of therapy like a workout for your mind. It keeps you sharp, balanced, and ready for anything. Training your mind regularly with a mental health professional is just as important as your time running or your time lifting in the gym. As the largest online therapy provider in the world, BetterHelp can provide access to mental health professionals with a diverse variety of expertise. Build your support system with BetterHelp. Our listeners get 10% off their first month at betterhelp.com/untapped. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/untapped. When you're tired, dehydrated, and struggling to concentrate, making smart decisions gets a little tough. That's why I take Vitals by Heights every single day. Initially, my team recommended it to me to keep me firing on all cylinders because it's not just about keeping my legs moving, it's about keeping my brain switched on and ideally making better life choices. Vitals are packed with 20 essential nutrients, including omega-3s for brain power, B vitamins for energy, and vitamin D3, all formulated by scientists and dietitians. And it just gives me that extra edge, better focus, sharper thinking, sustained energy, faster recovery, and deeper sleep. All in 2 capsules a day. Vitals are the smartest way to fuel your body and mind, so give it a go. Get 20% off your first month subscription at heights.com/untapped or use code UT20 at checkout. So 3:52. So you're not a million miles at that pace off a sub 4 minute mile.
Wow.
And
Yeah.
no woman has ever achieved that.
Yeah, no woman has ever achieved that. The 4-minute barrier for the mile for men was something that they thought unachievable. No one's ever going to do it. And then Roger Bannister did it, I think it's about 50 years ago. And then suddenly everyone's doing it. So now guys today are running 3:40 something. They're well under.
I think Josh Kerr ran a 3:43.
Yeah. So yeah. I think it was probably, that sounds very quick. But I think it was definitely 3:40s-ish. Somewhere in there.
That sounds very quick. We might have to check on that. I did do a story about it, and I believe I'm going to put my eggs in the 3:45 basket.
I think 3:40. Yeah, actually, you might be right.
I think it's 3:45.56
Yeah.
or something like that.
3:45.34.
Wow. Oh my God, that is quick.
Yeah,
That's actually so quick. Fair play, Josh.
no, but it is wild. It's like So you believe then that when the first woman invariably breaks the 4-minute mile, which, I mean, as I just mentioned, you're not far off. Like in reality, you're not, right? Because I suppose you would need the crowd again.
You'd need the crowd. Yeah. You'd need everything. But it'll be interesting to see if in like 20 years, women are breaking it all the time. Like something that was so impossible suddenly becomes the norm. Like that's how kind of it works. And there is this, we're going to try and break the 4-minute barrier for Faith Kipyegon, who is the greatest of all time, 3-time Olympic champion. So think about that. Over a 12-year period, she's come back every time to be the best. She's got the world record in the mile already and the 1500. So if anyone's going to do it, it is Faith.
She must be like already very close to it.
So she's run 4:07. So 7 seconds over a mile is still a lot to take off.
For sure. Like, but sorry to keep interrupting you, but if you're running a 3:53 for
1500
over 1500, you've got essentially 7 seconds to run the last 100 meters, which Usain Bolt can't do.
Yeah, exactly.
But still, it's not within the realms of. It's certainly within the realms of possibility. I would have thought, even I was about to say even for you, but like, would you consider yourself as somebody that could crack this 4-minute mile?
Not yet, but hopefully if we can watch Faith do it in a few weeks. So like Nike are doing this big thing. It's very similar to when Kipchoge was going to break 2 hours for the marathon. So
where's this happening?
This is happening in Paris in a few weeks' time. And they're putting on a whole spectacle. So the stadium is going to be absolutely full. She's going to have, custom shoes on her feet. She's in a custom bodysuit. I'm part of the pacing team.
They made her a top.
Yeah.
It's
fit to her specifications. She's been training for it for months, and it's just about trying and seeing. So
I'd love to go to this.
I'm pretty sure it's free entry as long as you get there. Like they're going to have people on the track. Like it's going to be a whole full thing. She wanted it to be free entry, so anyone who wants to come and be there can be there.
But I'm out if she gets like 1 second over or something. Though, imagine.
Well, even so, it will be a world record.
Yeah.
So she's got so even if she misses, it will still be a world record.
She won't miss. Will she have paces?
So we will have paces. So it's going to be a mixture of guys and girls. So I'll be part of the pacing team. So essentially Nike are working out, they've been practicing what is the perfect wind tunnel for Faith. And then people will be positioned around her to get a perfect resistance against the wind, and people will be dropping out intermittently, and then it will essentially be like her at the end on her own trying to go against the clock. So it'll be so exciting.
It's so exciting
just to see. It's really going to be, either way, it's going to be like a historic thing.
What's your minutes per kilometer pace when you're running a 1500 meters flat out?
Oh, you know what, I actually don't know,
Because you do it in miles.
Yeah, because I do it in miles, but also like I don't actually look at the pace. Now I just know what the lap times are. Like that's what I know. So it was about 61, 62 seconds per lap for just under 4 laps. Yeah, it's quick. Yeah.
4 laps as well.
Yeah. So
God,
just under.
It's that's remarkable stuff. I ran a mile with Farah the other day, and Mo in his prime would run a full marathon at that pace.
That's so scary,
like a
isn't
250 or a 251 or like 253, I think in his case. But like
how they do it.
No, but it's like 42.2 kilometers at a 250 kilometer pace.
Yeah.
Is, in my personal opinion, if you can hold a 250 kilometer pace for a single lap of the track, like you're very athletic. That is your.
It's a whole nother level, isn't it, of fitness?
They're doing it for like 100 laps.
I know.
It's insane.
It's insane. And I feel like, once people get into running and they do a lap to see the pace, then it really puts it into perspective of how fast.
Well, to put it into perspective, it's faster than your running machine in the gym goes.
Yeah.
So like if you get on your running machine in the gym and you crank it up to as high as it'll go, like some go to like 22, it's that. But it's that for 2 hours and 5 minutes. So enjoy.
Insane. And they make it look easy, don't they? That's the thing about it. They just look like they're striding out. But if you got someone like Keely in the run up to Paris, I don't know if you've seen the video where they get people to do her pace on a treadmill.
Yeah.
And see how long they can go. And I think the longest person was like 40 seconds. And they're flat out sprinting. But Keely looks like
looks all right, yeah.
She looks all right. She looks like she's chilling, yeah.
Why does everyone fall at the end?
Because they literally just can't.
Grab the thing on the side. Mo fell 3 times. We had him in here as well.
Oh,
and he was talking about like trying to surprise that guy, and he fell off it 4 times.
That's bad, yeah.
It's not good.
I fell off a treadmill in a Barry's boot camp, which is a bad moment for me.
Yeah, I mean, I was about to ask you about your biggest low, but I suppose it's that.
That wasn't a good moment. It was a few minutes into the class, and I was like, I've just paid £30 for this, so I have to just get back on the treadmill and carry on.
Why? Just out of interest, how did you fall off the treadmill?
It's pitch black in there.
I don't know.
Have you never been to a Barry's?
I've not been to a Barry's.
Okay, yeah. Well,
so you train in the dark.
They basically like turn off all the lights and then have you sprint flat out on the treadmill.
What?
Yeah. It's interesting.
It's not normal, is it? But it sounds dangerous.
It's a fun workout, but I just mistimed it and fell off a treadmill, which was kind of embarrassing.
I'm not surprised if it was pitch black.
But no, I'm sure I've had more embarrassing moments than that.
What is your relationship like, professional relationship, shall we say, with Keely?
Good, yeah, really good. Like we're in the same team and we have just a really good team around us. I think it could easily be that there's friction amongst everyone who is technically competitors, but there just really isn't in our group because some people are better at some things and others are better at others. So like Keely will kill all the track sessions, but then Sarah will kill all the tempo stuff on the roads, and like I might be good at hills. So like we're all working off each other, and that means that we all get better overall. I mean, I want to be racing with Keely a lot this year. She's just coming back from injury, but having her as a teammate and being in the group is literally just the best thing.
There must be some like competitiveness between teammates, surely.
There is, but it's like so openly competitive that it doesn't feel like
personal.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like personal. And as I say, like you never know who's gonna do the best in the session. It's not like one person is always winning, and I think that's good because it means that anyone can have a good day, So yeah, you're lucky if you have a training group like that. Like, I think the worst thing would be if you were the best in the group by a mile. Like, number one, how boring. But also, like, you're not going to get any better. Like, you're not going to be able to improve because you don't have anyone pushing you. You have no one challenging you, no one to hang on to. Like, if you can find people that are better than you, it will make you so much better. And so that's what we have. And our coach very carefully picks who's going to come into the group for the exact purpose. And yeah, it's not a surprise now. I don't think that as a team across different distances, we're picking up global medals.
Do you do relay?
No, we don't do the relay in the middle distance events, but I would love it. Like, if we had a 4x800 where it was like me, Keely, Gemma, and whoever else, like, we would get the world record. But it's only for the sprint, sadly.
That is a shame, isn't it?
Real shame, yeah, real shame. I hope they bring it to future Olympics because, yeah, I would love to.
What is the longest relay? 400?
I think it's 400, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And you guys wouldn't have a stab at that?
No, there's some very speedy 400 British athletes that would finish way ahead.
Can you explain just quickly how important is excellent recovery? And the reason I'm asking, because I think loads of people are probably in the same place that, you know, I've been before, where you feel like the more you do, the more productive you are. And like, you know, the more often you run and the harder you push yourself, the quicker you'll make those gains. And I think I now know that to be not accurate. I was wondering from a professional standpoint, what do you do to recover well? How important is it?
It's so important. You cannot do well if you don't recover. Like, it's as important as the hard training because your body needs to absorb all of that training to be able to improve. And if you're constantly just breaking down your muscles, not getting sleep, not getting nutrition, then your body is not able to absorb that. So you're just going to be run down, get injured. Like, I've been through it all myself. So it is so important. That's why how we train is one day hard, one day easy, one day hard, one day easy. You need the easy days. You need a lot of sleep. Like, I sleep a lot. I think.
How much do you sleep? Go on.
I would say 8 hours of sleep at night is not enough for me. Like, if I have 8 hours, I think I had 8 hours last night and I feel like I've done an all-nighter, you know? It's not enough.
Okay.
Like, I need at least like 9, 10, honestly.
Yeah. Michael Jordan, 12. So
and after an afternoon nap, like if I'm training in the morning and in the evening, I'll need to sleep to recover.
How long would your nap be?
Not too long, like 45 minutes, just something where I'm just
disco nap.
Very horizontal. So even if I'm not fully asleep, I'm just, you know, letting myself chill out before I have to go again. And I think I was working in the city for years, for like 7 years. I was working a tech sales job. And then in the last 4 years of it, trying to train like a pro as well, doing both. And I was definitely not getting enough sleep because I was waking up at 5 a.m., 6 a.m. to go train before work, then training after work. And I was kind of running on fumes or whatever. And then now it's almost like catching up to me. Like, I think I am trying to sleep as much just to make up for those years. And from the day that I stopped working last year in May, my performances went through the roof. So it's literally like as soon as I took out a job that was stopping me from recovering, my body was able to just absorb everything I was doing so much better. And I just got faster and faster and faster. And so I think, yeah, people need to take it as seriously as they take their actual physical training.
So what time do you go to bed?
I'll be in my bed at 9:30.
See, that like, it just sounds so nice.
Yeah.
Like I have kids and I do that as well. And
yeah.
Vogue and I go to bed at like
obviously if you're out at something, then
we're
yeah.
Not, though. We're not.
But exactly.
Ever.
If you're at home, I just like one day I was like, why am I just staying up just to stay up and look at my phone and watch TV? Like, go to bed.
We might stay up and watch a bit of TV. But
but not until like the early hours or whatever.
God, it's lights out at like 11 at the very latest.
Yeah.
But this is like the new rock star behavior.
Yeah.
I think it's like in bed by 9, you know, asleep by 11, up at kind of 6:30.
Yeah.
You know, training hard and softly.
Yeah.
Caffeine?
Caffeine, yeah.
You love your caffeine, do you?
Like have a caffeine gel like an hour before my race.
Oh, this is okay. So
which means it can be difficult to sleep the night after a race, especially like my race in Paris Diamond League this week is at 10 p.m. So I'm going to be having a caffeine gel at 9 p.m.
I had 8 gels in the London Marathon on
all caffeine.
Yeah, of course.
Oh my God.
Carbs and caffeine. Yeah, of course. And that was That was Jake Dearden's recommendation and Josh Kerr's.
Yeah.
He said every 15, 20 minutes, smash a gel.
Yeah.
So I said, all right, fine, news to me. I'll do it. And actually,
makes huge difference. Yeah.
Yeah, massive.
Yeah.
I don't gel during training ever. Again, I'm not an Olympic athlete.
I would before a hard session where it's like flat out effort. I'll take
my next park run. You better believe I'm gelling up.
Oh yeah, make sure you do. You'll go so much quicker.
I will. So you drink plenty of caffeine?
I would say like I'll have 2 cups of coffee a day.
Yeah,
maybe 3 if I'm feeling extra naughty. But
and what about like diets, nutrition? Are you strict? Not so much. Like
I say I'm pretty not strict, but I just know what I need to eat to fuel myself. So always in that 20-minute gap after exercise, never come to the track or wherever I am not prepared with something to get in straight away. So usually a chocolate milk or some kind of protein where it's just carbs, protein straight away. So going back to like breaking down your muscles after you're doing hard effort, how can I recover as quick as possible? That's a huge thing. Get that in. And then I'll just have a lot of whole foods, like eggs, salmon, chicken, rice, vegetables.
Single ingredient stuff.
Yeah, single ingredient stuff, exactly. And I need that if I'm training again in the afternoon. If I have like a big stodgy lunch, then I'll have a huge energy crash. But then dinner is kind of like you can do anything at dinner, I'd say, because you're going to bed. So it's okay.
Favorite super shoe?
I love the Vaporflies. Like they are the best shoe. They have the best shoe.
Vaporfly or Alphafly?
Vaporfly.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. I love the Vaporflies. Okay. Some people prefer the Alphaflies, but Vaporflies, I just think they're so quick. They look so good.
What tips would you give our listeners? Just, general health and wellness advice. The whole point of this podcast is that we want to equip people with points to take away from our incredible guests so that they can reach their full potential. Not that any of us have reached our full potential.
Yeah.
But, how can we do more with what we have? How can we learn about, untapping more of ourselves? Have there been any changes to your, routines that have made a massive difference that you could share with us so that we could try it?
Sure. I mean, I just think in general that everyone has got so much untapped potential. And even though you need to do all the physical work to get to these places, once you open up your mind to accepting that and seeing that you don't have limits and actually conceiving that these crazy things you might be able to do, and for everyone that might be different, that is really the power. So I think give yourself permission to believe in yourself. And a lot of people will not do that at the start. So they're always destined to not try. And I think, look at some of the cases. I mean, hopefully my case last year on paper should not have made the Olympics at all. And yet made it there and got a medal. And that's because I'd done all the work to get there. But I really believed in myself. People around me did. And I allowed myself to just dream big. And I think once you do that, you'd be really surprised at what you can achieve yourself. On a more tangible thing, for things to take away, obviously the recovery stuff, super important. Make sure that you are doing the really hard days in training as well as the easy days and getting that balance. And then just as one more tangible thing, set a timer on all your social media. I just have Instagram, TikTok set to 45 minutes. I'll get a notification if it goes to that point, and then hold yourself accountable. It's kind of aside from running, but we just don't need to be filling our minds with.
How do you do that, by the way? Is there an app that does that for you?
You do it on Instagram. You go to your settings and you can just put limits on it.
And it'll turn it off.
And it will just come with a notification saying you've been on Instagram 45 minutes today, now put it away. So you have to take the accountability and do it. But it's amazing how often I'll just forget about it and I could stay scrolling unless I got that notification. So I just feel like it's a good way because, we've all got goals to achieve. You've got to, it kind of resets you in the day to just be oh yeah, I've got X, Y, and Z I need to do. And now I need to get on with it. And so I think anyone can do that.
That's very good advice. And Georgia, thanks so much for joining us here on Untapped. It's been a great pleasure having you with us today.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thanks so much for listening. We hope you enjoyed that episode. And if you want to hear more incredible conversations with extraordinary people to help unlock the potential within all of us, then please subscribe, follow, and review the show wherever you're listening or watching. Thanks again, and we'll catch you next week right here on Untapped.